Next on ITV, we hand over to the studios of ITN for the latest news headlines.
Henry Winterman's History of the World, Part 1. Henry Winterman's slim panatellas. What fire was invented for?
Luther Vandross with his current hit from The Best of Love. A double album set giving you one great song after another. And another. The Best of Love. The Best of Luther Vandross. A double set on compact disc, cassette, and LP.
Two soldiers were killed and another seriously wounded in an IRA attack on a military checkpoint in Northern Ireland, the biggest IRA operation for 2.5 years. At least a dozen men took part, all got away. The attack started when the gang reversed a lorry into a border checkpoint near Rosslea in County Fermanagh. This report is from Ulster Television.
The horn was sounded, and as soldiers approached, gunmen concealed on the flatbed lorry opened fire and threw grenades. One soldier was killed. The lorry sped away, but as that was happening, a van was driven into the checkpoint and abandoned. A short time later, it exploded, and a second soldier was killed and a third seriously wounded. An army patrol spotted the lorry as it was being driven towards the border and opened fire, but it's not known if any of the attackers was hit. The lorry was abandoned and the gunmen made off on foot. The two soldiers who were killed were members of the 1st Battalion of the King's Own Scottish Borderers. The area is sealed off and a suspect device, thought to be a rocket warhead, is being examined near the checkpoint.
Police in London are hunting someone who sprayed 6 women with acid at underground stations. 5 of the victims were blondes. They needed hospital treatment for burns. London ambulance crews have said they won't answer any 999 calls from tomorrow. There are more peace talks today, but the crews have said unless those produce results, they'll respond only to direct pleas from doctors or the public on special X-directory numbers.
It's a most dangerous thing to do. So I would implore the public of London that if they are in need of an ambulance as a result of an emergency, then continue to dial 999.
London's ambulance crews are furious at what's been going on because people's lives have been put at risk. They want to try and provide a much better emergency service. And so what they are saying to Scotland Yard is put any calls through to our ambulance stations that you can't deal with.
The American National Transportation Safety Board, which is investigating the crash at LaGuardia Airport, New York in September, says it's uncovered at least 12 incidents caused by improper setting of the rudder controls on Boeing 737s. 2 involved the British airline Dan Air, though without any serious consequence. The LaGuardia 737 of US Air veered to the left and failed to reach takeoff speed in time. And that's it for now. ITN Morning News is at 5 o'clock.
Now on Thames Television, a camping we will go with Three's Company.
Kenco really know how to make a great cup of coffee.
That's too delicious.
Of course, real coffee drinkers go out of their way for Kenco.
Hi, I'm the Hitmonster, beast of wealth and taste, and I'm here to tell you about the latest Hits album. As usual, it's the cream of the crop. These are Standstill. 808, Steak, Keoma. Hits also feature 29 of the tracks by many of my close personal friends, and all the hits on hits are monster hits. Available now at a store near you. Make my day. Buy it. It's enormous.
I enjoy some winter sports this time of year. I could sit for hours and watch them persevere. But the fruit and flakes of wheat in fruit and fibre's hard to beat.
It's the only bit of fun you'll get round here.
A bowl of Kellogg's fruit and fibre's really neat.
Lots of fruit and nuts and flakes of pure whole wheat.
Apples, hazelnuts, bananas, raisins, coconuts, sultanas.
It's one thing you can be sure goes down a treat.
Now a look at events that made the headlines 50 years ago in our programme 50 Years On. Next on ITV, the morning news from ITN.
You can tape the right program every time with this Panasonic video, but where can you buy it? Have you rumbled it? Panasonic have.
This is just one of the 32 hits on the latest Monster Hits album. Buy it. It's enormous.
You're watching Thames Television from London. With the time now coming up to 5 a.m, we hand over to the studios of ITN for the morning news.
Two soldiers are killed by the IRA at a Northern Ireland border checkpoint. Good morning, it's 5 o'clock on Thursday the 14th of December. The attack by the IRA involved a dozen men or more, the biggest operation they've mounted for 2.5 years. The men they murdered were from the King's Own Scottish borderers. A third soldier was seriously wounded, as in hospital. The other headlines: the government apparently plans to send more boat people back to Vietnam from Hong Kong. And London ambulance men say they won't answer 999 calls. Also in this programme, more celebrations in Eastern Europe. The ruling Communist Party in Bulgaria backs down. A report in our World News. And from American television, President Bush will go to Colombia in his campaign against the drug trade. But first, the murder of the two soldiers in Northern Ireland. They were at a border checkpoint near Rosslea in County Fermanagh. The IRA started their attack by